Voice of Africa. Today we have a very special guest with us who goes by the name of Thando Thabethe.
Yeah,
She's a
right.
South African actress. Hello, Thando. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Can you please tell us about your childhood growing up?
I guess a typical South African childhood, really raised by both my mom and my dad. My dad is late now. 3 siblings. My brother's late now, so there's 3 of us left. But typical South African childhood. I grew up in Soweto, which is the biggest township in Africa. I don't know. I remember my dad had a jungle gym built for us in our backyard, so we never lacked. I mean, I didn't imagine they had much money, but we didn't lack in terms of, what they could provide, and just with love. It was just full of love.
That's for sure. So can you talk about, some experiences that you had earlier on that kind of led you to your career path as of right now?
I think it started off as just as an actress. That was the dream. Everything else sort of I stumbled upon really in my years. But yeah, the goal was always just to be an actress. I remember being in school, I was always part of like the school plays. And yeah, my thing was I'm going to be an actress when I grow up.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's very interesting. So, throughout your professional career or educational career, have you ever felt that, you've had to defy people's expectations of you because, of your gender identity? I know, especially with the recent stuff going on, you've been the first African Navy ambassador, the first African to have a show on TLC, multiple box office hits, and so on. So I feel like you do have the accolades over there, but do you feel like you still have to prove yourself just because you might be a lady?
Absolutely, all the time. I think women are not given as much credit as the guys are. I think when you're a woman, it's very easy for men especially, to use your sexuality against you. I mean, I very much use my sexuality for me. I own a shapewear and underwear company called Booties. That's all about celebrating the booty. But, that's sometimes used against you. And it's weird because, they're pressing like. But when it's not suitable for them, it's not liked so much. Now you're, flaunting your booty all over the internet. But, when they like it, then they like it. But it works for me. So I think it's a high time that, women stop being objectified, or women stop being told how to express their sexuality or celebrate their sexuality. So, I don't subscribe to that BS.
No, yeah, I definitely agree with that. I like the fact that you're very vocal with that as well, because I feel like, a lot of, especially the youth growing up, have to have that, model that they look up to, like, hey, Thando was very, expressive in the way she feels. I could be the same way as well. I don't have to be let down by men. So I definitely appreciate that. Can you explain, the importance of, or the idea behind the TV&R podcast that you created?
I was actually down in the States, and I realized how much information there was out there in the States for up-and-coming producers, actors, actresses, musicians. Like podcasting is a big thing in the States, and I think we're still just sort of coming up to it. Mine is a very niche podcast that is specifically created for those who are trying to get within the TV and radio industry. It was my way of trying to make available information that I knew I was looking for when I was trying to get in. Information you can't necessarily Google, because a lot of people's answers are like Google, but you can't Google people's experiences. So I thought, let's create a platform where we can share with, the next generation of television stars and radio stars, whether in front of the camera, behind the camera, whatever.
Right, and I definitely attest to that as well. I mean, I watched a couple of episodes in the past few days, and there's been a lot of insight that you've given in those. So I definitely, commend you for that. Out of all the roles you've taken so far, you've done modeling, TV, radio. You're an entrepreneur. I can keep going on. Like, I don't think I would finish. What has been your favorite so far?
That's always such a difficult question to answer. I can't choose. It's all, I think it's all the same thing. It's all entertainment at the end of the day. And I think I was born to entertain. I think for a long time, I've had to compartmentalize each thing, and it gets exhausting. Or, they say, decide, what are you?
Right.
Can you not inflict that upon me? Can I not decide? Not decide? Like, leave it up to me.
That's very interesting. So how do you juggle all of those things at once?
It's very difficult. It means not as much time with friends and family. I mean, in the last year, I've dropped the radio title, which takes up a lot of time, which has also allowed me to do 3 major productions in a very short period of time, which I'm really happy about. I think it's just being able to work with people who understand your passions and your dreams and are able to, the best of their ability, to accommodate without, of course, compromising themselves.
Right. And talking about productions, congrats on Ryka. Can you explain how that whole production came into fruition?
Well, auditioned. I auditioned. I got a brief from my agent. I went in probably about 3 times. I've never played a role like this before. I play a detective, which is really cool. So I like shoot people and stuff, which is nice because I've never really done anything like that.
Right.
It's been very difficult. It's got a stellar cast, and yeah, it is to be distributed globally, which is really exciting.
Yeah, that's massive. So, in your opinion, why do you think not a lot of African, good African, movies are streaming platforms like Netflix and Hulu? I know you have a movie that's on Netflix actually.
Yes, How to Ruin Christmas.
Right.
Sure. I think, I read an article, I think it was yesterday, how Netflix has teamed up with John Boyega, and they've teamed up to do like multiple films in Africa, across Africa. So I think we're seeing a shift in that. I think the world is definitely hungry for content from here. I think we're changing the narrative of what people thought, Africa is and how we live. And we are finally getting to tell our stories, because for the longest of time, it's been Americans telling African stories.
Right.
They don't live in Africa, which is like, and the Africans watching, they're like,
That's very interesting. So, as time moves on, I know Ryka is it part produced in the UK?
Correct.
Oh,
so it's half South African produced, half UK produced.
Oh, that's really dope. So what other, countries or maybe actors or actresses would you want to work with, in the future?
So many. John Boyega that I just mentioned. I think definitely Viola Davis.
Yeah, she's massive.
Yeah, I'm like big on the massive guys. Denzel, Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah.
I think you could definitely do that as well, man. Like, you just getting started, I feel like. So it's the top is definitely the moon is definitely the moon to go. What project have you worked on that you've been most passionate about so far, or enriched by?
I'm passionate about all the projects I work on, but one that I'm really proud of is a series called Housekeepers. It's a South African series, so it plays on South African channels. I wish you could see it. Who knows? Maybe they'll put it on Netflix sometime. Yeah. I'm really, that's probably one of my proudest work.
Okay, that's interesting. So can you explain how, the idea behind the Booties brand?
Oh, so it's Booties, as in so the my name, and then Booties. It's a nickname that I got from a radio show I used to do. A caller called in. I don't know if they couldn't pronounce my surname, but they called me Booty, and all of a sudden everyone was calling me Booty. And then I thought, hey man, this sounds like an underwear range. So I created one, and it's been existing now for 3 years.
Wow. Yeah, that's massive how you can just turn, a joke into, actual money. Is actually like very inspiring. Can you explain, the feeling being named one of Africa's, Forbes 30 under 30 representatives?
Well, that's really cool because I needed it to happen before I was over 30, right? So I'm really glad that happened. It's really dope, to be recognized among some of Africa's top young talents was truly an honor. Yeah, definitely one for the books.
Sure. And what are your goals for the upcoming year? I know you have a lot going on right now. Is there anything in specific that, we're looking forward to?
Well, Ryka drops in July this year, which is really cool. I imagine I hope there'll be another season of that other show I spoke about. Then there's something else that I absolutely cannot speak about, but it's really exciting.
We're definitely looking forward to it. And the last question I have for you is, how do you wish to see the future of Africa and the media?
I wish to see us own, I wish to see us be front and center in telling our stories. I can't wait. I mean, it's happening already, so it's really, really exciting. I'm happy that the way in which we communicate has changed. We perhaps wouldn't be able to be having this conversation a year ago, right? Because this wasn't how interviews were done, you know? So the world is becoming a much smaller place, which is allowing for, you know, Africa to go to the world and the world to come to Africa. So yeah, I'm really, really excited about that.
Oh yeah, thank you very much, Thando, again. Thando, I said it right this time.
Yeah.
On our
Thank you so
platform. Really appreciate you taking time of your day for sure.
Thank you.